So you have a S and W on your breasts. Stands for sexy, weird.
I don't know of any two adjectives that are a better descriptor of who I am than that.
Welcome back to Night.
Greetings, fellow stargazers.
You almost didn't get it.
I couldn't remember it. I have 2 children now.
Oh, yeah, you
Both
do.
under the age of 2. Well, no, 2.5 and 5 months old.
Oh, boy. Boy, congratulations, by the way. You know, collectively from the Stargazers and I.
All 40 of you that sometimes watch.
All 40 of you total, tout le monde, probably...
I see you, Ryan.
Oh,
I know
Ryan,
you're the first one commenting.
He's asking, for more, and he's like the only one. So check it out.
Well, and Tyler, the one that's not my cousin, the one that's from Tennessee.
Right, but I always think when you say Tyler, you're talking about your cousin, and no, it's Tyler from Tennessee.
Tyler from Tennessee.
Hey, man. So here we are at the end. Witness me. We're at the end of the. Oh, that should be on my list. I'll tell you what I mean. It's the end of the decade.
Yeah.
Right. You know how we still talk about okay boomer. We're talking about the 20s. We're talking about the 20s. Soon we're gonna be in the new 20s. And so when we say the 20s, we mean
the 2020s.
The 2020s, not the now you got to say the 1920s from the 2020s. You know what I mean? I mean, I still say 2000 and I'm one of those guys. Like it's 2019.
I'm a 2019er.
Yeah, 2019, but I'm trying to come around because I like the sound of 2020.
I've been a 20
which I don't have
since 2011. I've been doing that since by 2011 I said I'm done saying 2000 and whatever. No, it is 2011.
Okay.
It's 2012, 2013.
So when the syllables were too much, you jumped back to 20.
Cause it's 2013, 2014.
Yeah.
I don't have time for all these syllables. I'm a busy man.
Time for all these syllables? I don't have syllables for all this time. Is what you're saying.
I have nothing.
Sexy, weird, 2020. So what we're gonna do is we have favorite things from the last decade.
Yeah.
And we think that what we have as our favorites is important enough to tell you. And the things.
And you'll agree with us because you're the internet.
That's right. But we will agree with each other.
I don't know.
We might.
I'd assume.
I would hope so.
One would hope.
We do have very similar minds, similar tastes.
It's very frightening.
It's so frightening. We went to see Rise of Skywalker just randomly, same time, same theater.
It wasn't even the theater that's closest to us.
No, I don't even know why we both ended up there.
Because we wanted the big screen.
Yes, it's true. And at that time, and I was so happy we got to see it together.
Like one row apart. And then I didn't wait for you because I had to go relieve my father. From watching children at 12:30 at night, and he had school the next morning because he teaches.
I could see him from behind, so I texted him the
Did you get my text back? I texted back.
I didn't see it back.
You didn't?
No. Tell me what it is. Well, live on air.
Live?
Right? Are we live? F it, we'll do it live!
Oh, it was supposed to be that. It didn't deliver, though.
Oh, that would have been great. Oh, it didn't deliver.
It didn't deliver. It's Robert De Niro from Meet the Parents.
So
anyway,
we're gonna start with. So I think that probably my favorite hobby. This is I'm stealing kind of. I'm gonna say my favorite is video games. So I want to talk about our favorite video games from the 2010s.
Okay.
And we'll just do a quick and dirty a list here, but. We're not saying these are the best. We're not saying we went and looked to you.
I'm vain enough.
Yeah, but we're not saying we went to Game Informer and IGN and said, oh, their 10 of 10s are the only ones we're going to put on this list, because those are subjective too. So are ours.
Game what now and who?
10 out of 10s.
Who?
What? GameGN and iInformer? IGN and Game Informer. IGN.com.
Oh, those people in Minnesota.
I'm gonna cry.
No, that's Game Informer. They're in Minnesota.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna tell you what my favorite were. He's gonna say, I don't know where you are right now in this headspace, but I'm gonna try and bring you in.
Is Pac-Man still a thing?
Yeah. Actually, my kid likes the Pac-Man show, and it's literally a piece of trash. I'm sorry if whoever made it is watching.
Have you seen the Super Mario Brothers 3 show? Have you seen the Super Mario World cartoon from when we were kids?
Yes.
Yoshi sounds like a drug addict.
Yeah, and I kind of like...
He sounds like he has a problem with meth.
Mario. No, so we're watching...
It's got that weird voice.
We're watching, which one? The Super Mario Brothers Super Show. Hey, paisanos! My kid loves that show, and it's hot garbage.
Yeah, rest in peace, live action Luigi.
Yeah, but he loves it. And so I have no choice.
I loved it when I was his age.
Oh, I did too. I guess I don't blame him for loving it, but he also watches, like, I forgot, like, how bad, like, Chip and Dale is. Like, that show's kind of hot garbage,
is
too.
Is it?
Because Disney Plus now has opened us back up to these things. We're like, was the best show ever. Watching it again, we're like,
The 80s were not a good time for children's programs.
No, because it's very adult.
Oh,
All of them are very, I mean, not like so adult as in, like, inappropriate, but the jokes are woohoo for children. Like, woohoo!
So, we'll do our favorite children's shows.
Just right quick.
Time.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. Ones that let's review children's shows.
I want to do a podcast going through every episode of Boy Meets World.
That's not a bad idea.
Because I'm watching it, and oh my gosh, there's so much to be said about every episode.
There really is.
And I have seen that whole series multiple times through.
There's a lot of problems with plots and character decisions.
How about the point there's like in one episode of season 2, Eric is wearing 3 or 4 shirts, all of the collars popped.
I mean,
legitimately.
I'm laying it out there. That's baller. That's pretty cool. If I had 2 collars to pop right now, I'd get it going. Hey, aren't we talking about video games?
Yeah.
This is what's wrong with us in Night Blog. Hey, so I'm gonna let you start, my friend.
You're gonna let me start?
It's so good to see you.
Am I still recording?
I don't see the record.
You don't see the record?
Do you? Yeah, I do. I do see it. You gotta keep this in.
I gotta keep this in.
You know why? It blends into your sweater.
It blends into my sweater.
The record like it's lost. Oh, it's right. Hold on, right there. I'm holding it.
Huh. So I'll start.
Okay.
I don't know if I should. They're not listed. I mean, they're listed.
It doesn't matter if they're in order.
They're not in. They're not in a ranked order. I'll just start with the bottom because it's Super Mario.
Started from the bottom now, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Mario. Like
you love that from the beginning.
The minute I saw that was a thing, I was like, yeah.
I mean, it's super. It not only is it unique in the idea that like because creative games like that started existing in like Minecraft and voxel games and stuff like that, but that was the first one to be like, you can be a Nintendo level designer, down to the point that like these are probably the tools they used back in a different era.
Well, they designed originally supposed to be for internal use only.
Right.
It was supposed to be for them to create 2D Mario games because the new Super Mario Brothers series was going strong at that point.
Yeah.
But then they're like, we can actually turn this into a game.
And it worked.
And it works.
I mean, let alone like it turning into one that had a full campaign that was genius, and Super Mario Maker 2.
In the second one,
But the first one was just, I mean, do you remember, there's a Nightblog show. You can go back and watch it. I was probably fatter,
I was probably thinner.
Yeah.
Just being honest.
But
I got married, had kids, and I gained 40 pounds.
But it's I remember like how much you loved that and you showed it to me. I was like, this is actually incredible. That like
do you have Super Mario Maker 2?
Yes.
I'll have to send you. I made some fun levels. I need to get back into making them.
Well, my kid started making levels, right? And he'll do this thing where he'll be like, hey, I made a level and hand it to me. And he's sitting there just like watching me play. And I'll go through it too quick and he'll be like, give me that. And he'll make it. And he'll like add some difficulty and then he'll hand it to me again and be like, okay. Watch me do it. And
does he do the chin thing?
Yeah, I mean, he'll just like, you'll see him go in super focus mode, be like, But the way that he like is legit level designing, like, and I was like, I love this. This is so cool what you're doing right now. You should show him,
Ceave Gaming, Ceave, does Super Mario Maker tips and tricks for makers.
Okay.
Where, like, how you can use different objects to make machines.
Sure, yeah.
To, like, trigger things.
Right, almost like STEM, like simple training on stuff like that.
I've used some of his techniques in Super Mario Maker 2, and
That's
I'll
awesome.
put it in the description.
Super Mario Maker definitely deserves to be on your list. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just jump, the one that I have first on my list only because, I mean, I know that it's kind of divisive and like how good it was, how good it became, but Destiny 1 is what I'm talking about. And I know when it first came out, like, there wasn't a lot there. The story was really shallow. Like, it was Bungie kind of doing their own thing apart from Halo, yet it was very like Halo. And then it turned into this juggernaut when The Taken King came out, of this, like, glorious MMO-style shooter with these raids that no one could compare to. They had to be so organized, and there was no matchmaking. You had to find your own group, and there were all these subreddits and different communities and stuff to play this game. And, like, by all was said and done, I had, upwards of like 700 hours in this game, like where we just played it and played it and played it and played it. And I had this friend group of, there had to be 6 people in a fire team. And so all of us started before we had kids. We were, married and stuff. We all like started having kids and everything. So we played less but we still stayed together and we would end up doing all the raids and everything together. So it's special to me. Like, I know that it's not the greatest game ever, but it's literally one of my favorite games ever made because 1, it grew. It changed, it adapted, it got better, and it didn't just like stay stagnant. Like Bungie listened to people. I know Activision was kind of holding them down, like, make us more money, microtransactions, and they did the best they could to like work that into like a good game. But those raids and even the multiplayer, like, I have unforgettable memories. I will never forget like the way that you would grind to get certain weapons and gear and stuff like that. Like, doesn't sound fun on paper, but while you're doing it and you get that, there's a euphoria. There's this dopamine release.
Just felt very, very good, especially even on console. Like,
right. Yeah, the core mechanics of it just felt right. It was really the first shooter since Halo where you just jump in and with no training or anything, you sit down and start playing. You're like, yeah, this feels good. And the first time you're like on the moon, you're like, oh, this is cool. Because I remember playing the beta when it first came out, and we played it to death to the point like when the actual game came out, we were kind of like already bored of it because we played it so much. But it's Destiny, definitely. It's got to be on my list. Okay, sorry, I talked a lot. Go ahead. What's another one for you?
Witcher 3.
Really?
I love that game. It is the first 100-hour plus RPG I finished.
Okay. I'm going to let you talk about it because I had a different experience.
Yeah, well, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. And because I stuck with it past that opening area, what was it called? White Orchard, where it's just like, I pretty much hit every...
I think I have a grape juice called that upstairs.
I hit every question mark in there. I explored the whole thing, and then I moved on to the next, and then I saw the big world. I was like, oh, F no! But I then just started doing the quest, forgetting to try to explore.
Yeah.
I hit every question mark. Like, if I get to it, I get to it. But it was storytelling in it.
Okay.
It was the Baron's quest.
Okay.
And honestly, no other quest after that really lived up to it.
Right.
But that Baron's quest had me hooked.
Yeah.
Because it was an emotionally powerful story. It made me wonder, if I had played this different, how would have it ended? Because it ended with him, my version ended with him killing himself.
Okay.
Because of choices I made that ended up costing his wife his life. And then he had to, bury his stillborn child that turned into, this gross demon baby. But you had to, love it in order to give it its proper... it was just this weird, bizarre thing. But everything about it, they kept the humanity in that. And it was beautiful. Then finally at the end, he just couldn't live with the consequences of his choices and actions that were actually the consequences of my choices and actions, that he ends up taking his own life. What if I did things differently? What would his role be in the rest of this game?
Yeah.
How much did it change? And I can't wait to see what else they do. Because it wasn't just the main line that affected it. I went to do side quests that affected then the main quest and how you finished his main quest.
Sure.
I loved how each side quest, it wasn't just hey, go fetch this, come back, get some loot, money. It was no, this side quest is its full story.
Yeah.
Every side quest is a full, engaging story. You got to go down that rabbit hole as much as you want.
Yeah.
So,
which, from what I've heard, that's the common story of people who really liked it.
Yeah.
Is the idea that everything was meaningful. There wasn't that shallow, we call them FedEx quests.
There was one. Oh. But I never finished it. Who knows? Maybe if I finished it, I'd realize it wasn't that shallow.
Maybe it would have gotten to a point that was meaningful.
Yeah.
I checked out in that game pretty early. But it was beautiful and it played well. But
I'm not getting it on the Switch.
Yeah.
I just won't do it.
Okay. So another one that I had on my list, I guess not in the similar vein, but I guess in the same style of this kind of dark fantasy, Bloodborne. From the first time I played that game, I know the style of when I played Demon Souls and Dark Souls 2 and stuff like that, they were good. Bloodborne stood on its own as this pseudo straight up horror game. It was terrifying just to walk around any corner. The sound design and how every level looked, it was just really just scary to play. And then the gameplay was amazing on top of that. The combat was not quite fluid, but it was get wrecked, get good. You got wrecked a lot. And you only got incrementally better. By the time the game got to the point you were fighting really hard bosses, you were kind of fighting for your life. There was never a time where you felt really good at it. Until sometimes you'd go back with someone else and be like, yeah, this guy's a wash. And they fought him 35 times. What do you mean? You're yeah, it's not that big a deal. The game, all the way to the end, challenged you in new ways. Not in the ways that just, always just stepped on you and you die. It was be rethink how you're approaching this. They're we know that you can, dive to the side and come in with a slash. We're try something else. You might really and then you do, and you're see, look what they just taught you. And the next boss is don't do that. Try something else.
Yeah.
They keep implementing on that. It was really smart game design. It was terrifying. The bosses were amazing. Co-op was so much fun. The post-end game with all the different dungeons and randomly generated dungeons was amazing. And how to upgrade your weapons, how to grind that out was another just whole tier of awesome. And then the DLC was even harder. Are you kidding me? The game is so good. It might be my PS4 game of the generation.
Ooh.
It's just pristine. as far as like get right, get good games, like I love Neo. Dark Souls 3 was amazing, but Bloodborne just stands on top for me. I didn't really like Sekiro. Sorry. I know Game of the Year. I played as much as I could, and I just wasn't into it. But Bloodborne for me is one of the best of this decade. All right. Give me a third.
Bioshock Infinite. I'm sorry, Bioshock. I was actually typing this up on my phone while holding my 5-month-old son, so it actually says Bioshock Infinite.
Bioshock Infinite.
And it's Bioshock Infinite. It's the only game I think I've ever played start to finish in a day.
Oh, man. Like, I mean, it is that good.
I was single at the time. I mean, my wife and I were dating, but she lived in Pittsburgh, and I lived at home, you know. I was by myself, and within, like, I got it on a Friday, started a Friday night, and by Saturday night, that game was done. I could not stop playing. I was that good. And granted, shooters aren't that long anyway.
Yeah.
They're generally shorter, like 8 hours?
I'd say they've moved up to about 12-ish, but around the time, like 8 to 15 was like average.
15 is still very high. But yeah, once again for me, it's a story like I loved having Elizabeth with you, where she'd suddenly like shout "hey" and throw you extra ammo, or like you can use her to open up portals around the map, which it was all like, here's a preconceived area where you could open a portal, but still like it was an all game long escort mission that like, oh hey, my escort's actually useful. Yes. And also she doesn't die, and if she decides to like walk in front of somebody while I'm trying to sneak, it doesn't set the AI off, which is great. But just like the ending was like a mind turn. It was. And I was like, I love this.
The story, like Bioshock 2 was fine. Bioshock 1 was monumentally amazing. Yeah. And then Bioshock Infinite did it again. Somehow. They did it again.
And now they're making a new one. This is Ken Levine's not involved in it. We'll see how it goes. I mean, Bioshock 2 still has its merits, in my opinion.
I agree, gameplay-wise.
Yeah, but Bioshock 1.
I know.
Or Bioshock Infinite.
I know, Infinite was just so good. And just the way that they worked in, like, verticality to the game.
Oh, yeah.
Was so well done. And like you said, like, everything with Elizabeth was kind of like set points. It wasn't strictly event-driven, but it was like, we know you're going to use this here. But it still played so well it didn't matter. Like, you didn't feel like you were being handheld into doing it. It still felt dynamic, you know? And that's what made that game so fun to play. I agree. That's a great game. So let me throw a third one in there. And it's tough for me because the next ones are all kind of button for, like, if I were to put these in places, these all kind of, like, tie for me. But I'm going to say Breath of the Wild.
That's on mine. We can talk about it together.
We can talk about it together. Okay, so, like, the Switch comes out, right? And, like, you know that there's a new Zelda game coming. And I remember, like, first booting it up and being like, what is this going to be? Because, you know, you look at the art. The last time I saw, like, an art style that was drastic change was Wind Waker. Yeah. And for me, that was a bad thing. I didn't really like Wind Waker at the time. I like Wind Waker HD. I grew up. I kind of got over the fact that, like, they gave us that GameCube demo of Link and how good he looked fighting Ganondorf and that, you know, but then they rolled it back and did sorry, I'm going on a tangent. So I booted up the first time, and, like, the way that you go into the world and, like, just open up, and you go and talk to the old man, and you're just like, I started to get this, like, mystic feeling. Everything's just piano-driven. It's very light on music.
Oh, yeah, it's empty.
Yeah, it's very, like, vacant, and you have this feeling of wonder in this world, and it's just like...
But the way it intros you to the world, like, your first intro is at, like, the theme, bum, 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 or whatever. Why can't I draw it? But you get the piano, and it builds up to that crescendo where the title comes up, and then it comes back down, and it's just, it's atmospheric. Yeah. And
it felt like, it was very much like, here's the world, here's how you do certain things, go do.
So, the Switch came out during medical leave for me. Oh. When I had
lucky dog.
My third surgery.
I didn't mean to say it that way.
No, it's fine. I mean? It wasn't the first. It wasn't like the big surgery where like my intestines exploded. I was like, oh, well, they're trying to get out. Yeah. And so we had to push them back in, which major surgery, but not as bad as the first time. Right. So I was only out for like a couple weeks, but it came out during the second week of recovery.
Yeah, like you are the exit. Please don't exit.
Yeah. And so I got to experience it on painkillers at first.
Fun.
So to me, it was a trip.
Yeah. But the first Lionel was probably insane.
Especially when he starts talking to you. Yeah. But just the wonder of that game, the exploration, I liked it so much, I deleted my save so I could play it again.
Really?
I still have to finish it again.
Yeah.
But...
It doesn't... Yeah, just that feeling. I mean, there were, like, so many set pieces where, like, I was in awe again. Like, it kept happening.
Yeah.
It kept happening.
Like, you find the island off the coast where it's like, hey, we're stripping you of everything.
Yeah.
And normally I'd hate that. But once you have figured it out, I loved it.
Yeah.
And when you beat it, you're like, yeah. I conquered this challenge. Give me my 1/4 heart piece.
Right. Well, it was like that, or like finding the Master Sword, or doing things like that. Even things that weren't necessary, for like the overarch of the.
I made it my mission to find the Master Sword.
Me too.
Like, where's the Master Sword? Where is it?
Yeah.
Where am I gonna? Where's the Lost Woods?
Yeah.
I know it's gonna be there.
And how fun was it like to go through that game? And I'm sure you were the same, but like I didn't look at any external resources or anything. I mean, I try not to for any game, but for that one especially, I was very walled off. I didn't want to know what anyone else said. I didn't want to look at anything. And I remember finding the Master Sword. We were at Penny Arcade. So we were like in the car and everything and all this stuff, and we're finding things, and like everybody's playing it. Yeah. Everybody in the van, whoever's not driving, is playing Breath of the Wild, and you just hear people be like, "Oh!" We're like, and everyone's just like, no. But it just happened over and over, and like as we all started beating it, we're all just you could just see almost like this, like, like not relieved that we beat it, but just like.
That was cool. That was a journey.
You're overcome with like how good that was. Like at the end of the game, because the boss fight is phenomenal. Yeah. The way it has stages, the way that it builds, and you get to that final one, the way you fight, and how important Zelda is, and like when you get that final shot, you're just like, I can't take this. This was like Lord of the Rings level fantasy good.
Yeah.
In a video game that like had no reason being this good, and it was I get chills thinking.
I'm looking forward to what they do next with it.
Me too. I know the second one might be next year. Might be. I don't know. I hope it is.
I think they've been doing the Zelda every year, haven't they?
At least Zelda, but they announced it for this year technically. I don't know. They've been pushing everything back a little bit. I'd be okay if they push it back. It's fine as long as they get it perfect. I'm okay if they push it back. So we'll see. Maybe next year. All right. Do you want to do another one?
Yeah, I'll do. It's on both of our lists, so that we get to both of
Perfect.
our
Yeah.
lists.
Okay.
Mass Effect trilogy.
Yeah.
I know the first one. 2008.
Don't worry about it.
I know.
Don't worry about it.
But
because we're talking about the series as a whole, and it really came out in majority
2010. 2012. Yeah. I know it came out like 2010, 2012, 2 and 3, but that's when it picked up.
Yeah.
Like Mass Effect 2 is really the beginning of Mass Effect. So I played Mass Effect 1.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, it was fine. I actually had no desire to ever replay it again. But I played Mass Effect 2.
Okay.
Because I borrowed it from my cousin Tyler, not Tyler from Tennessee.
Uh-huh.
And he got married and went on his honeymoon. I had finished it while he was on his honeymoon. I'm thinking, he has 3. I went out and immediately bought 3.
Yeah.
So I could play 3. And I know people don't like the ending. They rag on the ending. I thought it was fine.
I actually really liked the original ending.
Yeah.
I was on board. I really liked the original ending.
By the time I played it, they had the patch in to kind of
did they?
expand
Okay.
a little bit.
Okay.
Which, like, whatever. But even then, people, I think, were still disappointed.
Yeah.
I personally liked it.
I did too. I thought
it's
it
still in the
did
middle
well.
of, like, my Renegade run of
Really?
the whole trilogy.
See, I was always, like, kind of towed the line of Renegade with people I didn't like, but I was majority Paragon. Like, I never went full one or the other. But, like, so Cade Malenko, for example, he can suck it.
Yeah.
I hated that guy. But, like, Garrus, I was be like, please be my best friend in every way, shape, and form. And, like, I remember, Mass Effect 2 rolls around, right? And you get to the end and you're, like, choosing everybody for the run. And I was just like, I got to choose my best people. Like, Thane is going to be awesome for this. And I'm going to send in my best dudes. And when they end up dying, I was like, are you effing kidding me? And then you boot up 3 and they're gone. They're still gone.
Yeah.
I was like, come on. And then you like...
I lost the Krogan. I lost
Rex?
not Rex.
Not Rex. I can only think of Rex.
I only lost one.
I know you're talking about.
I think it was the Krogan.
Okay, I lost Thane, which was my favorite, the assassin. He was amazing. I loved him so much, and I killed him in the vents. And I feel terrible about it to this day. But there was something, like, I know that the decisions in the third one, people didn't like how, like, it was like, here are your options. They're very obvious. Choose one or the other. I still love 3 because 3 played so well. And the multiplayer in 3 was really good.
I remember, because I hadn't played it yet. Tyler was living with me right before he got married. And in the middle of the night, he was playing it in his room. And my dog heard something and he wanted out of my room. And I'm walking around the house at like 2 or 3 in the morning with a bat. Because I'm like, what did you hear, Samba? What did you hear? And then Samba's going to Tyler's door and his tail's wagging. And I kind of creak the door open and Tyler's sitting in bed and goes, you okay? I'm like, yeah, have fun. Just close the door. He's like, why do you have a bat? No reason.
Just playing some baseball.
Baseball.
Yeah, I mean, Mass Effect 3 I thought was way better than it got credit for. I loved it.
Yeah.
That trilogy, it goes down in history. I love it. So do we want to throw our last ones in? Just say them?
Yes.
Just say them? Okay. My other one was the Borderlands.
Last of Us.
Oh. Those are good choices. And Borderlands 3 I still loved, but, like, Borderlands 2, for me and my wife, monumental.
I've
I've got Borderlands stuff everywhere.
I guess because I never really played it with other people.
Yeah. I mean, I fell in love with Borderlands. I fell in love with Gearbox. Like, Randy Pitchford and the whole team. Like, I feel like I'm friends with them at this point. I go to every, like, PAX collection. Like, just Borderlands itself is so deeply embedded in, like, our relationship and everything at this point. Like, it's very important to me as a gamer. And Last of Us, that's a powerhouse of a game in every way, shape, and form.
I replayed it last year.
Yeah, when it remastered. Yeah, because did you replay the remastered version?
Yeah, I replayed the remastered
because it's a really good remaster.
And I played it before because it came out 2013. That's the year I got married.
Right.
So I played it like before.
It came out, right
before I got married, and then like as I got married that year, like that's when I finished it. Was when we got back from our honeymoon. And I gotta tell you play that game differently as a father.
You really do.
Especially as a father of a little girl. Like that. Yeah,
because the beginning now just wrecks you. Oh my gosh, it's like hard to play.
I just remember of the Penny Arcade comic where it's just like it's Tycho standing in front of the Last of Us logo on his TV screen, and then it cuts to him looking into his daughter's bedroom, and the last was just him holding his daughter. Now I'm like, oh, I get that. I get so much more.
Yeah, I totally get that. I mean, Last of Us. I know Last of Us 2 is coming. The Last of Us itself on PS3 and PS4. I mean, it's crazy that like I would almost say it's one of the best games of both generations because it's that good.
Yeah.
So those are our favorites, man. You all got some favorites. I know you do.
You can share them, and you know what? This isn't the last thing you're going to see of us this year. Tomorrow, we're going to be back.
Yeah. We got another list for you.
We got another list.
Which one is it?
TV Does. Shows.
TV Does.
I have a D in there because I was holding my son while I was writing these on my phone.
What is IO-Shock Infinite?
Nioshock Info Night.
Listen, guys, if you want a good game,
no, did you pronounce that Nioshock or Neoshock?
Produced by Levin Kvin.
Neoshock Info Night.
Kvin.
That is a band name.
Adam Levine.
Who are you? We are Neoshock Info Night.
Produced
1, 2, 3, 4, and they're Swedish.
Featuring Adam Levine.